Ever find yourself scrolling through your phone, like endlessly, and kind of wondering where it all goes, all that data? It's not magic.
Right.
Right. Well, today we're taking a deep dive into the world of data. We're going to figure out what it is, how it's used, and honestly, why understanding it, well, it matters more than you might think.
Yeah, it really does.
We've got some super interesting stuff lined up. We've got excerpts from a whole university lecture on data systems,
Okay.
and even like an audio transcript from that lecture too.
Cool.
It's like we're getting a backstage pass to like the whole digital world.
And trust me, things get pretty interesting behind the scenes.
Okay, so before we even hit play,
Sure.
can we just talk about how much data like we generate every single day? I mean, seriously, it's like every online purchase, even every step that's tracked on those fitness apps, it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It's true. And what's really fascinating is most people don't realize that raw data is, well, it's just that raw. It's like having this, giant pile of Lego bricks just scattered everywhere without any context, without analysis. Those bricks, well, they're meaningless.
So it's not about how many bricks you have, but like what you actually build with them.
Exactly. And that's where the data life cycle comes in. It's the journey data takes from its generation to storage, and every stage is crucial.
Okay, so it's like a behind-the-scenes tour of how data goes from like this jumbled mess to, well, something useful.
Precisely. And this journey includes some really fascinating stops, like data compression, which basically ensures that we can store massive, and I mean massive amounts of information efficiently.
Mm.
The lecture actually uses medical imaging as an example. You know those high resolution scans?
Yeah.
They take up a ton of space, but lossless compression techniques, they can shrink that data footprint without, and this is key, without sacrificing any of the crucial details.
That's incredible,
Yeah, yeah.
especially in healthcare.
Right.
You definitely don't want to lose any vital information from an MRI.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing efficiency without compromising integrity. Now, while data security kind of focuses on these external threats, data protection it goes a bit deeper. It addresses how personal information is used ethically and legally.
And speaking of ethics, the audio transcript had this really relatable story about finding a coworker's document open on a shared computer.
Oh.
It kind of made me think, is it ever really okay to look?
Yeah.
Like, where's the line?
Right.
Okay.
That's a perfect example of how tricky these situations can be. Data security is like, I don't know, like locking your front door.
Yeah.
But data protection is about respecting the contents of someone's mailbox.
Yeah.
Even if it's left open completely by accident.
So it's about more than just like rules and regulations.
Yeah.
It's about making responsible choices, honestly, even when nobody's watching.
Exactly. And that's where legal frameworks like GDPR come into play.
GDPR. See, that always sounds so intimidating.
Yeah.
Like something only lawyers really understand.
It can seem that way, but it's actually about empowering individuals. Think about it. Have you ever gotten kind of nervous when you have to send your medical information through email?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, see, GDPR, it aims to minimize those risks by setting some pretty strict guidelines for data processing and storage.
So it's kind of like a digital safety net.
That's a great way to put it. But it's not just about individuals. GDPR has a big impact on organizations too by requiring them to be much more transparent about their data practices and handle personal information responsibly.
So no more shady business with our data. But there are so many like technical terms within GDPR.
Right.
Can you maybe shed some light on those data actors the lecture mentioned?
Absolutely. Imagine you're applying for a job, right?
Okay.
You are the data subject, the individual whose information is being collected.
Okay.
The company that you're applying to, that's the data controller.
Right.
They decide how and why your data is used.
Okay.
And then there's the data processor. That's potentially a third-party company that's hired by the controller, like a background check agency.
Okay, so that makes sense. So even just a simple job application involves this whole network of data actors,
Yeah.
each with their own specific responsibilities.
Precisely. And GDPR mandates that each of these actors plays their part in ensuring your data is protected throughout that whole process.
It's like a relay race for data privacy.
Mhm.
Everyone has to do their part to make sure nothing gets dropped along the way.
That's a great analogy. It really highlights how interconnected these concepts are.
It's like GDPR sets the stage,
Right.
and then each country kind of gets to like adapt the performance a bit.
Yeah, they can add their own like local flavor.
Right.
For example, the UK's Data Protection Act.
Okay.
It builds upon GDPR principles while still aligning them with, the UK legal system.
So it's like GDPR provides that base recipe,
Yeah,
and then each country can add their own spices.
exactly. It ensures consistency,
Right.
but it still allows for flexibility.
Makes sense. Now, with all these regulations, it sounds like organizations need like a playbook
Yeah.
to navigate this complex world of data protection.
Yeah.
Are there any specific frameworks that they can follow?
Absolutely. The lecture mentioned PIMS and ISMS.
Now, before you think these are just more confusing acronyms,
Right.
let me explain.
Okay.
Think of PIMS.
Okay.
That's Personal Information Management System,
Yeah.
as the set of blueprints specifically for handling sensitive personal data.
Okay.
It's how organizations can actually prove to regulators that they're taking data protection seriously.
So if a company is dealing with like something like financial records or medical data,
Right.
PIMS is there to like keep them in check.
You got it.
Okay.
It's about ensuring those organizations have, really robust systems in place.
Right.
Think about something like data encryption.
Okay.
That's a key part of PIMS.
Right.
It transforms sensitive data into like an unreadable format.
Making it way harder for, unauthorized individuals to access it.
So it's like putting that data in a vault with multiple locks.
Exactly. And then there's ISMS. That's Information Security Management System.
Okay.
That one is like the security system for the entire building, not
Mhm.
just one vault.
Right.
ISMS is all about managing the security of all information within an organization.
Okay.
It helps them to identify potential threats,
Right.
like, cyber attacks or data breaches,
Right.
and then put measures in place to prevent them.
So PIMS is like the specialist for personal data,
Yeah.
and ISMS is like the all-around security chief.
That's a great way to put it. And the best part is that both PIMS and ISMS, they're designed to adapt and evolve. They're not static. They encourage this continuous improvement to
Yeah.
keep pace with, technology's always changing.
Right.
And the threats are always changing too.
So organizations can't just like
Right.
set it and forget it.
Exactly.
It's an ongoing process of like staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And that brings us back to why understanding the data lifecycle is so crucial.
Okay.
We've moved beyond just collecting data.
Right.
It's about managing it, protecting it, and using it responsibly.
It's like we've graduated from simply taking like snapshots
Right.
to becoming like full-fledged data curators,
Yeah,
carefully managing a valuable collection.
exactly. Speaking of managing data, the lecture's explanation of data compression was
Yeah.
really, really interesting. It really highlights how we can store and transmit data more efficiently.
Oh yeah. Remember that run length encoding example?
Yeah.
It's like packing for a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just stuffing clothes randomly, you roll them up to fit more in your suitcase
Right.
without damaging your own.
Precisely. That's run length encoding in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It replaces these repeating patterns with shorter codes,
Right.
which significantly reduces the data size.
And the best part is it's lossless, meaning
Yeah.
you can like reconstruct the original data perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like a super efficient filing system.
Right.
Nothing gets lost.
Exactly. And this technique is used everywhere.
Wow.
Every time you stream a movie, you send an email, or even just browse the web, data compression is working behind the scenes to
Right.
make it all happen, seamlessly.
Wow. I never realized how much we rely on all these data concepts without even knowing it.
It's true. And this brings up another critical aspect, data storage and management,
Right.
all that compressed data.
Right.
It needs a place to live,
Right.
and it needs to be organized so
Okay.
that it can be easily accessed.
It's like having a really well-organized library.
Yes,
You need a system to make sure that you can find the information you need when you need it.
exactly. And as the volume of data just continues to explode, effective storage and management, it just becomes even more critical.
It's like we need bigger and better libraries every single day just to keep up.
Right. And once you have that data stored,
Yeah.
you need a way to, unlock its potential.
Yeah.
which brings us to data analysis.
Okay.
It's like detective work,
Yeah.
sifting through all the data
Right.
to uncover hidden patterns and insights.
And with artificial intelligence and machine learning becoming so powerful, what we can do with that analysis is evolving so rapidly.
Absolutely. We can use data to predict trends, personalize experiences, even address complex problems that we couldn't have imagined tackling before.
Right.
I mean, think about it.
It's really exciting and a little daunting, honestly,
Yeah.
to think about all the possibilities. But it's important to remember that, with great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely. And that takes us back to the anecdote about the open document.
That really got me thinking.
Yeah.
It seems like such a simple scenario,
Right.
but it opens up this whole discussion about ethics.
Right. The audio transcript highlighted that simply accessing information that's left open,
Right.
it might not be illegal,
Right.
but it still raises all these ethical questions.
It's like finding a diary.
Yeah.
Just because you can read it
Right.
doesn't mean you should.
Exactly. In a professional setting, that kind of action, it can damage trust.
Right.
And it can have, some serious consequences.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't technically break any specific rules.
It's a good reminder that data ethics goes beyond just, ticking boxes on a compliance checklist.
Yeah.
It's about making responsible choices.
Absolutely. And one concept that plays a crucial role here is data minimization. That's a key principle of GDPR.
Refresh my memory on that one.
Sure.
Sure.
Data minimization basically means that organizations, they should only collect the absolute minimum amount of personal data
Okay.
that's needed for a specific purpose.
Right.
For instance, if you're applying for a job,
Right.
the company, they don't need to know your medical history unless it's directly relevant to the role.
It's about respecting people's privacy
Yes.
and not just like hoarding data just in case.
Right. It goes hand in hand with another GDPR principle, purpose limitation. This means that data can only be used for the reason it was originally collected. So if you provide your email address
Right.
to sign up for a newsletter,
Right.
they can't just turn around and sell it to a marketing firm without your consent.
Okay. So transparency and honesty are key here.
Absolutely. And GDPR gives individuals the right to access,
Okay.
correct, and even erase their data,
Wow.
which puts them in control of their digital footprint.
It's empowering people to take charge of their information
Yeah.
and ensure that it's used responsibly.
Exactly. This shift toward individual rights, it's reshaping how we approach data in the digital age.
It's a move away from data being like a commodity
Yeah.
that's controlled by companies
Right.
to one where individuals have agency and control.
Precisely. It highlights the need for open dialogue
Okay.
between individuals, organizations, and policymakers
Right.
to really shape the future of ethical data use.
It's a team effort. Speaking of teams, remember the lecture's point about data actors?
Yeah.
Understanding their roles is crucial for navigating this whole data landscape.
Right. The data subject, the controller, and the processor, each one plays a vital role in safeguarding data.
Right.
It's like a basketball team. Everyone has a specific position.
Right.
And they need to work together to succeed.
And in this game, success means ensuring personal data is handled responsibly
Yes.
throughout its entire life cycle.
Exactly. The data subject needs to be informed about their rights. The data controller needs to be transparent about their practices.
Right.
And the data processor, they need to handle data securely
Right.
following the controller's instructions.
Everyone has a role to play to make sure the game is played fairly.
Exactly. And that's why, education and awareness are so important.
Right.
The more we understand about data and its implications,
Right.
the better equipped we are to navigate this digital world responsibly.
Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to data.
Couldn't agree more. Remember that the landlord example?
Yes.
That really highlighted the gray areas of data privacy.
Oh yeah, the one where a landlord asked a potential tenant for personal information.
Yeah.
That sparked a lot of debate in the lecture.
Yeah. It really showcases that fine line between legitimate interests
Right.
and individual privacy.
Right.
On the one hand, a landlord wants to make sure they're renting to responsible tenants,
Sure.
but on the other, they shouldn't be asking for excessive or irrelevant information.
It's a tricky balance, and
Yeah.
it really emphasizes the need for open conversations and
Yes.
clear guidelines about appropriate data use.
Absolutely. That's where regulations like GDPR come in.
Right.
They provide those boundaries and
Right.
and they offer individuals that legal protection
Right.
if their data is misused.
It's like having a referee on the field
Exactly.
to make sure everyone is playing by the rules.
Right.
But even with regulations, there are always going to be those who try to like bend or break them.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
It's a constant game of cat and mouse
Yeah.
between, those trying to protect data
Right.
and those trying to exploit it.
And as we depend more on technology and data,
Yeah.
the stakes just keep getting higher.
Exactly. That's why, investing in these robust security measures
Yeah.
like the ones outlined in ISMS is more important than ever.
Okay.
It's about building strong defenses
Right.
to protect that valuable data.
Like fortifying our digital castles against invaders.
Precisely. And just like a real fortress,
Yeah.
a strong security posture requires multiple layers of protection
Right.
from firewalls to strong
Yeah.
password.
It's about making it as difficult as possible
Yeah.
for unauthorized access.
Absolutely. But it's not just about the technology.
Right.
Human error often poses the biggest risk.
That's why security awareness training
Yeah.
and good password practices are so crucial.
You got it. It's about creating a culture of security within organizations.
So it's a combination of technology policies
Yeah.
and a vigilant workforce
Yes.
to create a truly secure data environment.
Exactly. And it's an ongoing effort,
Right.
constantly evolving as new threats emerge.
Like we're all in this high stakes game of chess.
Yeah.
Constantly anticipating that next move to stay ahead.
That's a great way to put it. Remember the lecture's discussion about data encryption? That's one of our key strategic moves in this game.
Right. Transforming data into unreadable code
Exactly.
to protect it from prying eyes.
It's like having a secret language
Right.
that only authorized individuals can understand.
And with so much sensitive information being like transmitted online these days,
Yeah.
that secret language is more important than ever.
Absolutely. Think about all the things we share online: credit card details,
Right.
personal messages, medical records. Encryption helps to protect that information, even
Yeah.
if it ends up in the wrong hands.
It's like sending a message in a locked box.
Right.
Even if someone intercepts it,
Yeah.
they can't read what's inside without the key.
Exactly. And just like, physical locks, encryption comes in different strength.
The lecturer mentioned hardware and software encryption.
Right.
What's the difference?
So hardware encryption uses a specialized hardware like a chip
Okay.
that's specifically designed for encryption and decryption.
Okay.
It's like having a high security vault
Right.
built into your computer, which
Yeah.
makes it, much harder for attackers to access the data.
Sounds impressive.
It's considered more secure.
Okay.
Software encryption, on the other hand,
Right.
uses software programs to
Uh-huh.
encrypt and decrypt data.
Right.
While it's effective,
Yeah.
it's generally considered, slightly less secure,
Okay.
since those encryption keys are stored on the computer itself and are potentially vulnerable to sophisticated attacks.
So it's like using a combination lock on your suitcase. Better than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a really determined thief
Right.
might be able to crack the code.
Exactly. Choosing between hardware and software encryption, it often depends on how sensitive the data is and
Right.
the organization's, specific security needs.
It's about finding the right balance between strong protection and practicality.
Right.
But encryption is just one piece of the puzzle, right?
Exactly. It's a critical piece,
Right.
but it needs to be part of a broader security strategy.
So what other tools do we have in our arsenal?
Well, the lecture touched upon firewalls and antivirus software.
Ah, yes. Those are classic security measures.
Right. A firewall is like a security guard for your for your computer or network.
Okay.
It monitors incoming and outgoing traffic,
Right.
blocking anything that seems suspicious.
It's like having a guard at the entrance to your network,
Yeah.
checking IDs and turning away anyone who doesn't belong.
Exactly. And antivirus software.
Right.
That's like the immune system for your computer,
Okay.
constantly scanning for and eliminating malicious software.
It's all about building a multi-layered defense system.
Exactly. And just like with our own health, prevention is always better than a cure.
So practicing good digital hygiene is crucial.
Absolutely. That means keeping your software updated,
Right.
using strong passwords, and being cautious about, suspicious emails and things like that.
It's about being proactive instead of reactive when it comes to data security.
Exactly. And this takes us back to the importance of compliance frameworks.
Right. Those are the rules and guidelines that organizations need to follow
Right.
to ensure like responsible data handling.
Precisely. And one of the most significant developments in recent years is the emergence of data protection regulations like GDPR.
Which, as we discussed earlier, gives individuals more control over their data.
Exactly.
And sets like really strict rules for organizations.
Exactly. And while GDPR is a European regulation,
Right.
it's had a global impact.
Right.
It's prompted many other countries to adopt, similar legislation.
It's like setting a new standard for data protection worldwide.
Precisely. And for organizations complying with these regulations, it isn't just about avoiding fines.
Right.
It's about building trust.
It's about showing that they take data privacy seriously.
Yeah.
And that they value the trust that their users and customers place in them.
Exactly. And that's where those compliance frameworks that we discussed,
Right.
TIMS and ISMS,
Right.
they come in handy.
They provide a clear structure for building a secure and compliant data infrastructure.
Exactly. Think of them as blueprints.
Okay.
Organizations can, adapt them to their specific needs,
Right.
but the foundation is there.
And as the world of data evolves,
Yeah.
it's crucial for organizations to stay informed
Yes.
and adapt to new threats and best practices.
Absolutely. Complacency is not an option in this game.
It's a constant journey of learning,
Right.
adapting and improving those data protection strategies.
Exactly. And that journey, it begins with a solid understanding of the core concepts.
Yeah.
Just like we've been discussing today.
It's about recognizing that data represents real people,
Yes.
real lives,
Yeah.
and real responsibilities.
And as data becomes even more integral to our lives, treating it with the respect it deserves
Yeah.
is paramount.
It's amazing how we went from like talking about these tiny bits of data, these ones and zeros,
Mm.
to like global regulations and cybersecurity. It really shows how it's all connected.
Yeah. It's true. And what I think is really striking is how something that seems so abstract, like we're talking about ones and zeros,
Right.
can have such a tangible impact on our everyday lives.
Absolutely. This whole deep dive has really, really driven home the point
Mhm.
that data has incredible potential.
Yeah.
But with that comes this huge responsibility to use it ethically.
I completely agree. The lecturer actually made a really great point about the ethical dilemmas that come with data.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just have the technical skills to collect and analyze it.
Right.
We need to be constantly asking ourselves these tough questions, like how is this data being used,
Right.
and what are the potential consequences?
It's almost like we're all
Yeah.
becoming like data ethicists now.
In a way.
Yeah, whether we realize it or not, every click, every online purchase, it's like we're shaping that data landscape with our actions.
Exactly. And that's why having these conversations, it's so crucial.
Yeah.
It's not just about, the tech companies or policymakers. It's
Right.
about everyone being informed and engaged.
I really appreciated that the lecturer emphasized like critical thinking when it comes to data.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new technologies and data-driven solutions.
Yeah.
But we can't forget to look at both sides of the coin.
Absolutely. We need to be questioning assumptions and considering the potential downsides along with all the benefits.
Right.
Just because an algorithm generates a result, it doesn't mean that result is objective or fair.
Right. It's like that old saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
If we're like feeding an algorithm biased data,
Yeah.
we can't expect like these unbiased results.
Exactly. And that's why data diversity is so important.
Right.
If we're only collecting data from a small and homogeneous group of people, then our analysis is going to be limited
Yeah.
and potentially, discriminatory.
It's like trying to understand the entire world, but only talking to people who live on your street.
Exactly.
You're missing out on all these perspectives and experiences.
Precisely. We need to strive for inclusivity in data collection.
Right.
To ensure that everyone benefits from this data revolution, not just, a select few.
It's about, making sure that the future of data is one that's equitable and benefits all of humanity.
Absolutely. And I think the insights we've kind of unpacked today have given us a great starting point to work towards that goal.
I couldn't agree more. This deep dive has given me so much to think about.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel so much more aware of my own role in this whole data ecosystem.
And as you continue, navigating this increasingly data-driven world,
Right.
just remember to stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged in these conversations about responsible data use.
Yeah. Because honestly, the future of data is in our hands. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of data. Until next time, stay curious.